Hi guys, welcome to today's video. In today's video, we'll look into a scenario in which the Anschluss started World War II. Yep, World War II started early, kind of thing. And the first thing is, well, obviously Hitler rose to power in this timeline still. The first thing he does is go into the Rhineland. A few years later, he goes into Austria. At this point, Japan pretty much looks like, let's say, I think it was something like this probably, or something close. I would say that's about what it would probably look like. But here to the alternate history. While Germany did this, they declared war on Austria, obviously, so I guess they're technically the aggressor. When I made the thumbnail, I looked a bit different at this idea, but now I think this makes more sense with France being the one to start this. And you know what? Chances are somebody will support them. But France, as we know, had West, Central Africa, Algeria, Morocco at this time, and Tunisia, Mali, and all this area. They also had Madagascar, French Guiana, they still have. But yeah. They had Indochina, Djibouti. Chances are the first nation to decide to help them would be Poland. And let's just color Danzig in because it was a puppet thing. And chances are Britain would join them in their effort. A lot would be going on. Obviously, Britain joined. Did Egypt join yet? Probably not, because they don't have a reason to. But they are a part of the UK, so that's why they'd be a part of this. So here, Iraq, Kuwait, British colonies. Well, Iraq was kind of just a puppet thing. Did its own thing in real life in World War I. And that's kind of what it would look like. I don't think that's exactly what it looked like at this time. Oh, that's a bit of a mistake. I think it kind of looked like that, maybe. No, not like that. Kind of like this. What Yemen kind of looked like at the time. And this part wasn't part of the UK. But let's say the United Kingdom brought everyone in to the war, which chances are it would do. South Africa, Lesotho. This is a bit of time consuming. So first thing I did was I just put the Commonwealth in it. And as you can see, this is a lot of nations. France probably would slowly advance. Probably not fast, as we know. They weren't, let's say, going to be. They were strong military, but they were outdated. But considering this war started earlier, it might give them a bit of an advantage. With them moving into the Rhineland, Poland starts an invasion into East Prussia, one into German Silesia, and whatever that is. But Germany would probably be able to repel them, because Poland wasn't that strong at the time. They probably would do it there and take away their coast to try to stop them from getting aid once they got troops ready for this. And they move through here. They cross it off. And then they move into Danzig. With Danzig falling, they probably establish a front here, maybe, hopefully for them, but not really. And so France continues its advance into the Rhineland area. Germany would be in a bad position considering the time frame that started. But I'd say Germany would do what they did in our timeline, which would be an invasion through the Benelux region, just because it makes a bit of sense for them to do this for strategy and more stuff. As a movement into here, into the northern Netherlands, goes pretty well. They even moved to Belgium. But chances are it would be held, the front would be held. And at this point, Poland would be fully kicked out of Germany. And the Soviets would probably do something similar to an hour timeline, because the Germans would be in a position that they would need help for certain. So the Soviets can be the brown team because we're really running out of colors. Let's say a Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact was still signed. I would say it would be a different situation, because I would say since Germany's focused on two fronts instead of just one, the Soviets would probably get more, with the Soviets quickly coming in through the east. Which most of this reason is because, yeah, the Germans are also attacking areas with Polish, more so than Russia, which is moving through Ruthenia area. With Germany establishing something like that, France making a counter-offensive in Benelux, yeah, in this timeline they do. As Germany wouldn't be as strong, so, like, as you can tell, with France only having slow advances because they weren't weak, per se. And Poland is in a bit of trouble, guys, at this point, as they're pretty much about to collapse at any moment. With Germany probably, as you can tell, Russia got more land than an hour timeline. Why did France get Poland involved? Because they could, but that had its own problems. And I would say most likely a separate treaty was signed between the Soviets and the Germans. But we can wait till later for that, because it makes more sense, just so we don't make the video have treaties and make it harder to come up with a... Oh, wait. I could do that and just go back to the map we used before. And I would say Germany would be looking for allies, mainly Italy. And Italy probably wouldn't join right away at this point, because it looks like Germany isn't in the best spot. Germany now moving all of its forces over and starting an attack on France. Trying to attack doesn't mean they'll be successful. With them having to still go into Luxembourg, and because they can't cross the Maginot Line, I guess. And with them coming close to Paris, probably even taking it, but France had time to prepare, and like World War I, chances are they would move to Bordeaux or another major city, like Marseille. With Germany now crossing here, because like it's not really defendable at this point. With France and Britain making an offensive to stabilize the front, which eventually leads the front to look something like this. And they managed to do this, luckily, go up the coast a bit. Taking some of Germany's coast away. With Italy at this point seeing Germany might actually win, probably joining this war, but not really their best decision. Portugal doesn't join Britain despite having a treaty. And just let us know, because we remember Dr. Congo is part of this war now, and because I almost forgot, the Netherlands would also be a part of this war. And let's say Japan probably had success in the south, because I think they had a few fronts, like one down here, one by Taiwan, and so on. I would say the U.S. might still get involved with Japan, but I don't think Japan would be getting involved with Germany at this point. Because as we know, they didn't instantly, and they also have a bit of fighting left ahead. And Italy has joined. What would that mean? Well, Italy would probably start an offensive into Tunisia and Egypt, like they did in our timeline. They made an invasion here, into Tunisia, let's say. I think they did. And one into Egypt. Let's say they take out these colonies, because they would, probably. But they're also probably getting attacked anyways, because Britain and France has most of Africa, along with Belgium, Congo. Probably not even funny to even watch, but yeah. It would be something like this at this point, Ethiopia being liberated, or so they say they are. Not much is happening in southern Libya, because why would it? And let's say they manage to push France back further. France doesn't surrender, unlike our timeline, because they joined earlier. They were in a better position in this timeline, I would say. With Germany trying to get more allies, they managed to get Hungary, but Hungary joins on the condition they invade Czechoslovakia, which means Czechoslovakia still gets invaded. They couldn't escape that one, guys. With Germany moving into Czechia area and Hungary moving into Ruthenia and Slovakia, with that eventually being the end result. The chances are the Soviet Union will probably still annex these, but I don't think they would start the Winter War, because this is ahead of where they're ready, but they might. And as you can tell, Japan is doing Japan things. With them moving the government most likely to Bordeaux at this time. With this being a big front to manage, but France manages to. With France not having surrendered too, that would increase their ability. Maybe France not surrendering is a good video topic. Let's see what happened to Ethiopia. Guys, I don't think this looks so well for Italy. But that is a good thing, I guess. Well, so now they've managed to take back Djibouti and Somaliland. I would say since Germany would be focused on France, they can't, in this timeline, invade the Soviets. With them declaring war on Italy, because Italy still declares war on Greece, even though I just called Greece Italy. So, as you can tell, not all the islands got colored in, specifically in the Pacific, because why? With Italy, let's not put Yugoslavia in, but let's think of it. Let's say Italy is probably maybe less successful. Which, as they get kicked out of Greece, we all know what happens next. Because when you make alternate futures, you like to exaggerate what really would still happen the same. Because why not? Well, Germany gets very upset at Italy because all of Albania falls in this timeline. And they declare war on Yugoslavia, and Bulgaria is like, land? I hear the word land, and Romania's like, Germany, can you protect us from the Soviets? Germany's like, sure. There's definitely border changes between the Soviets and some of these nations, but we will ignore that. With this being the part that is... And Greece falls first in this timeline instead of the other way around. With many things going to happen at this point, but I don't think... With Germany still probably going to do some of its same steps. But, as we know, they're not going to succeed in the... With Iceland and Greenland, as we know, being occupied by Britain at this time. I would say this war will end soon, mostly because France is still here. They will focus on, I would say, Germany during this operation, which basically, as we know, Germany invaded Denmark and Norway. Unfortunately, this probably will go the same, just because it is, and like, as we know, stuff isn't happening in a weird order, but yeah. With them taking out Denmark, then invading Norway, even though I did color them at first, they managed to take this out. But what happens differently is this gives France an opportunity. And, yeah. France uses it to split Italy off from Germany. And what the goal probably is now is to knock them out of Libya. With them not having as much land in Africa being taken over because, well, France didn't fall and they got a lot after France fell. And they start moving into the coast on both sides because that's how to take it out. With Italian Libya losing its coast and then being taken over by the Allies. With that's probably being used as a great time to invade Greece in this timeline. The Soviets get to keep what they want. Which is most likely they might start moving if the situation becomes good for them to do that. With Greece being re-liberated, appears to me that in this timeline went slightly different. Also, there's that invasion of Italy did not happen, just to let you guys know that was a mistake. But, so they got knocked out. With, as we can see, at this point, Japan expanded more. Do I know where they were at this time? No. Is this supposed to follow history? No. So it doesn't really matter if it goes right or wrong. And so, as you can tell, or as you guys see, maybe it's better to say, Japan has taken a huge swath of China out. But what is going on right now? Well, in this time lapse we're doing, timeline we're doing, this is alternate history. If you want more alternate history videos, please let me know. Bulgaria being invaded, and the plan is to just do not much. As an invasion by France happens, taking back the coast and moving into Belgium, with British forces arriving, France decides to take, like in our timeline, there was an invasion of Italy, where they take Sardinia, because they did. They move up here, they make a landing over here, and they decide to make one here in this timeline. With there being no America, maybe they're at war with Japan at this point, who knows. With Germany being surprised, but as we know, Germany gave them this land or about it. And let's say they take over this area, because Germany gives them it, just so they can have more, so they get resources from the Soviets, kind of thing. Well, the Soviets invade it, but they do nothing, because at this point they're all focused on Italy. And with the Yugoslav partisans having taken like this much land over, and as we can tell, eventually Yugoslavia falls. Yugoslavia is re-liberated, but the puppets that were there are fallen. With Britain with Yugoslavia and them managing to do this, now really what their plan is to drive the Axis out of. Not really the Axis, it might not be called that in this timeline. I think the Axis existed at this time. With Romania at this point surrendering and declaring war on Germany. With Hungary being attacked and Austria being invaded, now the focus would probably be on kicking Germany out. With them having a big failure in Norway as Norway falls. And Hungary, which has been occupied, through Hungary they re-invade Czechia. That being very weird, what's going on over there, but I guess it's because the colors are too similar, maybe. And as you can tell, Germany may, at this point, realize they might have made a big mistake in Anschluss thing, but they didn't know what the reaction would be. Imagine if this was the real reaction. I think this is probably 1943 or 2. They didn't invade Russia, because why would they? Because they were still at war. Would France still surrender? Possibly. With Germany losing lands, and at this point, Austria is fully taken away. I would say, would Germany surrender? Who knows? Let's go as if they didn't for more entertainment, but yeah. They probably would at some point. With Denmark being invaded, and now the Rhineland gets invaded. And when the Rhineland falls, it's a bit of a big deal. Then this area falls. And southern Germany falls. This kind of reminds me of a game I was playing today. That gave me the idea. I was playing World Strategy Bot, and I was like, oh, what if I stopped Germany early? And I did exactly that. But it was much less action than it was in our timeline. But with Germany having capitulated, and now negotiations happen with Russia. And as we can tell, Japan, that's what Japan looked like, let's say. Let's say America let's say they did invade this area. They probably did start pushing Japan back. They're probably getting some kind of help from the US, maybe. if they're lucky. But let's see what happened in Europe, because we're not really focused on Asia. That just kind of was the background. Just to make you guys understand what time period it was. With the U.S. probably still not out of the Great Depression, but that's it. And now let's see the peace treaty. I'll start in Europe, and that's pretty much all. But yeah, I'll do something with the Soviet Union. I know what lands I want to give Poland and everything. I'm going to put the lands that are partially controlled by the Soviets back, because Germany had to negotiate with them for them not to attack. And, you know, many things happened. And let's see what happened in the peace treaty. What happened? I changed the map it was. But as we know, as I said, the Baltics got annexed by Russia. Kaliningrad is still left as part of Germany. Or at least, shall we say, East Prussia is still there. The Soviets, as you can see, annexed parts of Poland, parts of Romania. Czechoslovakia remained intact. Germany is like that. Netherlands got more. Germany is a French puppet. Which, if you want to see a detailed map, I divide it into a few occupation zones. With the British in the north occupying a huge chunk. But not quite as big as France's, because in this timeline, France made the biggest effort. So France would most likely occupy the most. But, differently than in our timeline, not only do they occupy Germany, but also the Rhineland. But the Rhineland is a French puppet, too, basically. With Poland getting an occupation zone, Netherlands is proud they got some land. That colonies are freed. Ethiopia is left looking like that, shockingly. Libya gave independence. Egypt is, and so on. Independence is probably going to rise. Japan, who knows what's going on with them. We don't even know what went on there. And if you like alternate World War II videos, let me know. Maybe you like alternate World War I videos, alternate Napoleon Wars. But that's hard because there's so many tiny nations. But yeah, could unify them and just call them Germany for the video. Even though it's a bunch of tiny, like, Bavaria or tiny nations kind of thing. In Prussia, there's Brandenburg, there's everybody there. Wait, Brandenburg would be Prussia during Napoleon. But as you can tell, Turkey didn't do much. Greece is still Greece. Italy was supposed to lose. Italy lost a few lands, such as these lands. And Austria was given these, because why not? And as you can tell, this would be significant, as that means Austria wouldn't be called a victor kind of word. Austria wouldn't be called blamed for the war. Hungary is blamed, Romania is blamed, Bulgaria is, Germany is, Italy is. Italy wants Ethiopia back, but Ethiopia gave independence and they won't get it back. And that's where the map is wrong, but yeah. So, and then we have Afghanistan, we have everywhere. So that's all for today's video. Please like and subscribe, 20 likes, and I will do a different alternate history video. Thanks, guys. Bye!